step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. If you're catching this on the live, come on in, come on in. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. We got a lot to talk about today. Donald Trump has been on the move. He has been on the move, moving and grooving. Whoo. We are only a few days into this thing, and he is doing way more than what the Biden administration did over the past 4 years. Crazy. Actually, not crazy, just truthful, right? Just truthful. I'm going to do a quick roll call. What's up to all the moderators in the chat? What's up, my mind? Rob, Bobby, what is going on? Rose, Kathy, hope everybody's doing amazing. Just Marie, how's everybody doing today? Right before I jumped on this live, I checked the weather in North Carolina. North Carolina temperatures have significantly dropped down into the early teens, so 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, these teen degrees. And mind you, some of these individuals, it has been months, 3 to 4 months, and they're some of them are still living in tents. Some of them are living in campers. Those of you that have lived in campers know that it's not the best installation, so it's still freaking cold. It's still freaking cold. We're going to jump into quite a few things today. Actually got into it yesterday with a delusional woman about Helene. She blamed Trump. I almost lost it. Oh, are you kidding me, Bobby? Are you kidding me? Somebody's blaming Trump. He didn't even take the oath of the Oval Office when Hurricane Helene came. What did she say? I want to know. What did she say? That is crazy. That's crazy to me. Hi, everyone. Yep, FEMA sucks and did nothing. Hid behind the building and kept money. Yep. FEMA is an embarrassment, especially watching President Trump and the First Lady listen to these people. Yeah, I actually have that piece, which we'll go on into. We'll chop in and out of it. I cannot believe, Bobby, that somebody would say that it was Donald Trump's fault for Hurricane Helene. Come on. So probably about an hour or two ago, President Trump issued a statement at the Asheville airport in Fletcher, North Carolina, before visiting these devastated areas. Bobby says, she said Trump signed papers that says, let the state take care of it on their own. Oh my gosh. Before he was in office? Like, what? All right. Here is Trump at the airport. He issued a statement about FEMA here.
Everybody thought I was going to California. I said, no, I'm stopping in North Carolina first because they've been abused by what's happened. I mean, it's terrible. It should have been done. It should have been, a lot of things should have happened that didn't happen. So we're here. We're going to fix it out. We're working with the gentleman behind me, and you know who they are, and we're going to fix it. And we're going to fix it as fast as you can. It's a massive amount of damage. FEMA has really let us down, let the country down, and I don't know if that's Biden's fault or whose fault it is, but we're going to take over and we're going to do a good job. We're going to assign Mr. Watley, who's fantastic, frankly, and the governor and everybody else that's going to work. We're going to supply the money, supply a lot of the money. Maybe you have to chip in something. You'll chip in a little something, like maybe 25% or whatever. But we're going to get it done as quickly as we can. And we want to take care of the people of North Carolina. It's so interesting. Everybody's talking about California, and that's a mess. But I said, I'm not going to California until I stop in North Carolina. So here we are. We're going to go visit the site, and we're going to work with probably 3 of the congressmen, Republican congressmen, who've been fantastic, whose areas have been affected, and with Michael Watley, the governor.
So anyways, this was right before he went to go visit the site in North Carolina. I'm going to play a little bit of that. We'll kind of bounce in and out of that one. But here is Trump in North Carolina. Too bad Trump has to clean up Biden's mess. That's tragic. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I think it was complete money mismanagement. And FEMA, with that whistleblower coming out saying that FEMA was skipping Trump signed or Trump supporter houses. That is crazy. That is crazy. It says 70-year-old just can't make it on Social Security after working for 30 years. Yeah, inflation has really skyrocketed out here in the United States. And it's unfortunate that, individuals like yourself, it's hard. It is hard. Social Security isn't a lot, and cost of goods and housing and living has just skyrocketed over the past 4 years. My mind says, I fear Trump's life in California. I don't trust Newsom. I don't either. We got a clip of Newsom coming up here. I'm going to jump into this presser. I'm not going to play this whole thing because this is about a 20, 30-minute presser, unless you guys want me to. But
with us, and we're going to get involved with them. And Michael Watley is here, who is the head of the Republican Party. He worked with Laura Trump to take us through to a tremendous victory. One of the, as the media says, one of the most consequential presidential elections ever. They say in 129 years, whatever that may mean. But whatever it is, it was a great election we had, and we won your state. All 3 times we won your state. And all 3 primaries we won your state. So we won it 6 times, I guess, Mr. Congressman. And it's a great place. And I wanted to come here. And before I went anywhere, frankly, in the campaign, I promised that I'd come back to Western North Carolina to help the people of the state. And today, here I am to deliver on that promise. And we have a lot of things in mind. And we're getting the Army Corps of Engineers all set. You need your riverbanks fixed. You need a lot of roads fixed. And we're going to get it done in rapid time. And I've asked Susie Wiles and all of my people to start calling up, get the Corps ready, and they're going to get ready to go. I don't know what it is. I don't know what took so long for the other administration. But remember, I wasn't here for the first 4 months or 3 months, whatever it may be. See, we can only start as of essentially 1 or 2 days ago, and we've made a lot of progress over the last couple of days, Michael. I understand.
I just want to address Mary's comment here. It's nice to see the First Lady Melania besides Trump. Yeah, it's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic.
We're going to get you the resources you need and the support that you deserve, and we'll be at your side through every step of the rebuilding, and no American is going to be left behind. The people that I just met are so great, and the people that own that house is going to be very beautiful in a little while. And who knows, if Franklin decides, maybe he'll rip it down and build him a new one, because sometimes you can do that just as easily. But we're going to take care of the people. I want to thank our great First Lady for coming today. She really wanted to be here. She said, no, I want to go. And, she sees what happened, and she felt very badly, and she wanted to go. And we're then going out together to Los Angeles. But she wanted to be in North Carolina. She saw what happened. She has a feeling like I do for North Carolina. So thanks as well to a great gentleman, Franklin Graham, and his father, Billy Graham. I used to go with my father to Yankee Stadium and places to watch his father preach. And he was some preacher. He was some. You got good stock. You come from the ultimate genes, I can tell you. But he was really something. And Franklin, though, has done so much, and his father's looking down on him right now. I guarantee for a long time he's been looking down on Franklin, saying, "I'm very proud of you, son." He really is, because what Franklin's done with Samaritan's Purse is incredible. They told me just yesterday that Samaritan's Purse has been great, but the FEMA people sort of left you high and dry, but we're going to change that around. We're not happy with FEMA. As well as all of the representatives. You have great representatives here. Chuck Edwards, who's here someplace.
I'm going to fast forward this just a little bit because he's just thanking some folks.
In my inaugural address, we restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of the American government. And I think I said most of it in the inaugural address. We said a lot of things, but one of the groups of people I was thinking about is you in North Carolina. A lot of that was in reference to you and what you've had to suffer. I'm pleased to announce that under our leadership, the federal government will be surging housing solutions to the state that go beyond mere temporary hotel stays that ended up being very short term. The government wouldn't do it any longer, which is ridiculous. We'll marshal all available resources to bring back potable water and make your water and infrastructure dramatically more reliable very quickly. Today, I'll also be signing an executive order slashing all red tape and bureaucratic barriers and permits to ensure the rapid reconstruction of the roads here in western North Carolina. We're going to go through a permitting process that's called no permitting, just get it done. That's the way they built them many years ago, I guarantee you that, right? We will get them back very quickly, and we'll begin the work of fundamentally changing, terminating, or overhauling FEMA. FEMA's been a disaster, no matter where they are.
The other thing that he introduced was stopped any additional foreign aid funding to first provide Americans with assistance. That came out yesterday.
We're honored to be joined today very quickly by several families affected by.
I'm just going to share one of these families here. It was really heartbreaking. This woman right here.
I live out in the Fairview area of North Carolina and near the Back Cave, Lake Lure area. And our area was hit. It was hit really hard. I was home alone, and my husband had stayed in town because we take care of a little lady that's 98 years old, and she lives out in the woods by herself. And I said, just stay with her and make sure that she's okay. And I got up the next morning, and my first thought was, I want to go see what our road and bridge looks like. So as I was making it down to the road and the bridge, there was no road and bridge. And so, here we are, we're like at a little island, we can't access the main road or anything. And then the fire department came by the next day and said that they were evacuating me and my neighbor because a landslide was going to come. And they told me to get my stuff and get ready. And so while I was getting my stuff and getting ready, there was a knock at the door, so I thought it was the fireman. And I went to the door, and there stood my 21-year-old son. His name's Nathan, and he had drove as far as he could to get to me, but he hiked 5 miles, and it took him a really long time. And he got there, and he said, "Mom, grab a bag, we gotta go." And I said, "Son, there's no way I can hike out of here." And he's like, "No," he said, "we gotta go." So we started hiking out, and I seen one of my neighbors who. She had no clothes on. Her skin was like chunked up. It was just, she was blue. She had been in the waters, and where she had went or I don't know, but horrific is just all I can say. But then as me and my son hiked on out, we went through where this place, we call it Craigtown, but there were like a lot of family members there that passed away, like 11 of them, and there were people out everywhere looking for their loved ones, and there were dead bodies. My son's like, "Mom, you're gonna see things you don't want to see." And
how horrific is that, right? Like, these people are in a small town. Their place gets completely demolished, absolutely floods. Her son hikes 5 miles in to go get his mom. It's wild. It's wild. And she goes on to say that, in order to get some of these restoration things done, you got to come out of pocket. And I had mentioned this in a video before, that my buddy in Florida had to come out of pocket to initially remediate the house. And some of these folks, a lot of people just in general, live check to check or on Social Security or whatever the situation is. And they don't have the means to front the cash to get the project started. So it's just been sitting there. Bobby said it's wild how the left will twist whatever Trump says and turn it into negative. It's more believable that way. They will die on their own hill of lies, no matter of the situation. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You see what a life of lies and misery does when you see presidents like Bill Clinton. You could just see. Because whatever you hold in on the inside, or whatever angst and anger and lies that you accumulate throughout your life, you hold it in, and you end up looking like Bill.
And so anyway, we got through all that, but I stayed at our church in our sound booth. My husband and I, we just slept up in the sound booth for a couple
What's up,
of
Bright
months
Star?
because we didn't have power or anything for about 2 months out there. And then
Thanks, fixed. You need a
No
lot.
power for 2 months. Are you kidding me?
when you look around, you see your neighbors that are gone, and it's just, we need help. I wrote a letter to send to Congress. I don't understand what's going on. If we can't get FEMA help, then will you guys help us? Will you?
It's like the administration completely forgot about this situation. They completely forgot about the situation. It's been months. And nothing has happened. We're going to jump into this story with Gavin Newsome. Gavin Newsome is just lying to reporters. He's just lying. Lying Newsome. Hold on. Oh, here it is.
Such misinformation, when people believe such misinformation, and I don't mean it in a malign sense, maybe the president just doesn't know that there's not a spigot that can be turned to solve all the water problems that he alleges exist that don't exist as it relates to the state water system here in Southern California.
So we're less than 24 hours away from his visit. You're saying you haven't had any contact with the White House at all?
Well, I haven't. I'm grateful, though, that he took our invitation to heart and that he will be here tomorrow. It's my understanding. I look forward to being there on the tarmac to thank the president, welcome him, and we're making sure that all the resources he needs for a successful briefing are provided to him. There's no limit to the resources we'll provide for that briefing, and as I say, I'm grateful that he appears to be coming
So you
out.
plan on talking to him tomorrow?
Well, I certainly plan on being there at the tarmac and look forward to continuing to work, not just with him, the administration, as it relates to the disaster recovery, as it relates to our efforts to collaborate with multiple federal agencies over the course of the next minute.
As more and more information comes out regarding the situation in California, it is at the end of the day, it's mismanagement. How you spin it, okay? Whether it's a spigot, whether it's a thing that you turn on, it is a situation where they were redirecting water back into the Pacific. So it's not necessarily a spigot that you have outside your house, but they were redirecting water back into the Pacific, the rain reservoirs, and the complete mismanagement of controlled burns and the funding more focused on this situation in California really irks me. Same thing with North Carolina. The complete mismanagement with the controlled burns and then focusing more on the homelessness. You ask for more money and the homeless problem still hasn't been resolved. This guy needs to be investigated. This guy needs to be investigated. Same thing with Miss Bass. Matt says, Gavin for prison. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the conversation that he's going to have with Newsom. He's probably going to blast him during the presser, unless Gavin Newsom hides and runs away. Jason says Trump will be in LA later. Newsom is going to jump him upon landing. Yeah. I'll see when they plan to land in LA. Bobby says, wait, Newsom stated no limit to the resources. There was resources to begin with? Yeah. There was an article that came out, a damning article that came out a few days ago from the LA Times stating that they only deployed 5 fire trucks out of the 40 that were available in the initial Palisades fire. What? He's part of the society he's protecting. Yep. I want to know why homeowners insurance companies canceled parts of their people's policies. Just a real quick recap on that. Some of those insurance companies requested increased premiums for the insurance companies to insure homeowners specifically in California because of the high rate of fires that were occurring in California, and California denied the insurance companies to increase their premiums because of the high risk. And they said no. So a lot of these this is just a quick Cliff Note version of this. And then these insurance companies said, hey, all right, cool. You're not going to allow us to increase our premiums because at the end of the day, if they don't increase their premiums and there's a high risk of fires, the insurance companies are going to have to fork out a significant amount of money. And so a lot of these big box insurance companies backed out of California, canceled policies and things like that. So a lot of those California residents had to move to a thing called the FAIR Plan and offset insurances, which obviously cost more monthly or annually. Rob says, kick him out of office and see how long he can afford his $9 million home. Exactly. I was speaking to a colleague yesterday, an associate of mine yesterday, and because of the high winds in California, he's out in California, because of the high winds in California, they shut off people's power. Power has been shut off. So they was shut off for 4 hours yesterday, a couple hours the day before because of the high winds. Luckily, he has the power walls that can power his home, but he was like, this is ridiculous because of high winds and their inability to do controlled burns. They got to shut off people's powers. And I'm thinking to myself, what about those people that are on oxygen? Okay, and you know, other mechanical devices to keep them alive. What about that stuff, right? A 80-year-old on oxygen isn't gonna grab the power pack because they offered a power pack, a solar power pack to those individuals so they can power their oxygen machines, but it's heavy. It's heavy. And you got to put it outside and then you got to run it because it runs off of solar panels. It's crazy. It's crazy. What is up, Michelle? Hope you're doing amazing. She says, hello, beautiful peeps. Just got here. Love from Indiana. Now, this is Trump floated a few questions in the North Carolina airport after he landed. Excuse me, after he landed.
President, you talked about conditions being placed on aid to California, voter ID and the like. Are there any conditions that you're going to put on aid to North Carolina?
We're going to do a lot for North Carolina. They've been very slow. I don't know why it's been so bad. This has been one of the worst I've seen. Katrina, of course, was something that obviously that was a long time ago. That was not good. But this has been very slow. I don't know if that was for political reasons because they lost the state. Biden lost the state. Maybe he felt he doesn't care. Maybe there were other reasons. I don't know. But this has been very slow. By any standard, this has been very slow. And we're gonna make up for lost time.
No conditions you're going to push for aid.
Well, in California, I have a condition. In California, we want them to have voter ID so the people have a voice, because right now the people don't have a voice because you don't know who's voting, and it's very corrupt. And we also want them to release the water. If they released the water, they wouldn't have had a problem. If they released the water when I told them to, because I told them to do it 7 years ago, if they would have done it, you wouldn't have had the problem that you had. You might not have even had a fire. So, but here I don't have that. It's a different thing. You got hit by a storm. The people are incredible. They worked really well. Franklin was fantastic, and other groups. By the way, other groups came in that were also fantastic. And other states came in, Tennessee and a couple of others came in, and they really helped. That's the way it's supposed.
I have let me just zoom on in up in here. All right. So he has particular conditions regarding California, which arguably so should have conditions, especially if they're asking for more aid, just to make sure that the money goes in the right places. Because we see what Gavin Newsom does with money when he was given aid for the homeless crisis. His 10-year plan is on a 20-year timeline all of a sudden now, and he spent all the money, and homelessness is the highest rate it's ever been. Anyways, Donald Trump talks about Dr. Fauci, okay? Dr. Fauci has been in the news lately. Dr. Fauci, his security detail has been removed. Good. And believe this or not, Joe Biden, if you guys have been following along, Joe Biden pardoned Fauci, and Fauci took the pardon.
But you can't have a security detail for the rest of your life because you work for government. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Would you feel partially responsible if something were to happen to, say, Dr. Fauci
No.
or John Bolton?
No. They all made a lot of money. They can hire their own security, too. All the people you're talking about, they can go out. I can give them some good numbers of very good security people. They can hire their own security. They all made a lot of money. Fauci made a lot of money. They all did. So if they, felt that strongly, I think that certainly I would not take responsibility.
I know somebody was talking about extraditing Mr. Fauci to Russia. Imagine how Fauci would do in a Russian prison there. Rand Paul says by accepting the pardon from Biden, Fauci is accepting guilt. I think you might be right there. I visited my family over the holidays in Georgia, so I drove from Maryland south, and I saw the devastation damage all the way down to Georgia. You wouldn't believe how awful it is in person. I could only imagine.
Fauci should go to prison over his dishonesty regarding the COVID-19 virus and the gain-of-function research. But, Senator, he is now protected by a preemptive presidential pardon.
History is going to judge him harshly. By accepting that pardon through Supreme Court precedents, he's actually accepting his guilt, so he's accepting culpability. He made the decision to bypass and to avoid the safety committee, to fund this without adequate review of its safety. He made a terrible decision, but you have to realize it wasn't a one-off. For over a decade, Anthony Fauci had said that the risks of a pandemic occurring were worth the benefit of the knowledge. Most other scientists disagree with that. But the idea that we could do anything to any virus, and if it escapes, oh well, whoops, too bad, the knowledge is worth it, it's not. There are viruses that could kill 50% of humanity. We should not be trying to aerosolize Ebola or aerosolize the avian flu or make it easier to transmit the avian flu among humans. Right now, our biggest benefit is the avian flu can get into humans, but it's not going human to human. If you were to work in a lab with the avian flu, you can probably make the virus go to human with intended or intentional mutations. That would be a disaster. And anybody who wants to do that in the lab should never be funded by the taxpayer. So, Anthony.
I think him taking the pardon is an admission of guilt. 100%. 100%. And it's interesting because an article came out a couple days ago stating that any of the J6ers that accept the pardon from Donald Trump are an admission of guilt. Interesting how when left media says something of that capacity about the pardons for the J6ers, a situation like this isn't even hardly brought up. How many times did Fauci lie under oath? A lot. A lot. Michelle says, send him to Russia. Let Putin take care of him. Absolutely. Just let him rot in there. Let him rot in there. Now, we have the most famous Navajo Indian, Senator Warren, claims that Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, would not be ready 24 hours a day. This is her ploy to not approve of Pete Hegseth here.
We cannot trust the safety of our country to someone who has demonstrated repeatedly using very bad judgment with alcohol and doing it in ways that truly have incapacitated him. This is not a moment to take that kind of risk with our national security. And I hope that all 53 Republicans.
Meanwhile, some people in the seat have been in hospitals for 2 years. Nancy Pelosi can't even walk. Mitch McConnell doesn't even know where he's at half the time. And then this individual right here.
With breaking news now, we are learning Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has been released from the hospital. And a statement that was given to us a short time ago following consultation with medical staff, Secretary Austin has been released from Walter Reed National Military Medical Center today. He continues to recover well and on advice of his doctors will recuperate and perform his duties remotely for a period of time before returning full-time to the Pentagon. And we're told he has full access to required secure communication capabilities. Just to review, he's been in the hospital for 2 weeks now. So finally, he'll go home today.
2 weeks, and Elizabeth Warren says that Pete Hegseth won't be ready 24 hours a day. This individual has been in the hospital for 2 weeks, and he's probably going to be working home remotely until he gets fired. The hypocrisy here is crazy. Thank you, Bright Star. I appreciate it. I'll check out the email as soon as I get off this live. She said, I just sent you an email about a book about Fauci and the virus. Hillary is in it too. Thank you for that. Yeah, I did see that, Matt. I did see that. Yeah, I'm pretty. It was about those individuals regarding passing of the Federal Reserve. Matt's mentioning the stuff about the Titanic. Trump needs to be placed on Mount Rushmore in the near future. Yeah. Michelle says Doge can't come fast enough. We need less government, and that means less stupid people in government. Absolutely. There's, I think after Vivek's situation, after he called out H-1B1 visas and called, Americans lazy, if you would, on his tweet or on his X, Vivek is no longer part of Doge, and I don't think that is the only reason, but there has been rumors that he is looking to run in Ohio. So whatever Vivek does, he's going to do fantastic with, and Yeah, Doge cannot come fast enough. Now, I want to bring this story up because I had mentioned this a while ago regarding the apple cider vinegar. So I used to use this apple cider vinegar brand. It was called Bragg's. It had the like mother in the apple cider vinegar, so it was all organic. Anyways, about a year and a half ago, I believe it was, or 2 years ago, my mind might know those exact numbers, but Bill Gates actually ended up purchasing these farms where Bragg's was manufactured. And so Bragg's is no longer a brand that I use simply because of that situation. And this solidifies it because right now, Bill Gates backed Appeal. Appeal is a spray-on product for produce that when I'll just share this here.
PSA for anyone going to the grocery store. Yes, even natural health food stores. Next time you're in the produce aisle, please be on the lookout for this label. And whatever you do, do not go near it. Appeal, or EdAppeal, is a World Economic Forum and Bill Gates funded product that is being sprayed on fruits and vegetables, which are on the verge of spoiling, so that they appear fresh and last longer. Even more frightening is the fact that Appeal has been approved for use on USDA organic produce under the name OrganAppeal. The main ingredient found in the Appeal coating is mono and diglycerides, which are extracted from grapeseed oil. This is then processed with the use of two solvents, which are ethyl acetate and heptane, both of which are hazardous chemicals known to seriously damage internal organs in the case of repeated exposure. This coating cannot be washed off. Additionally, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer, or IARC, recognized glycidol, another name for these same ingredients, as, quote, probably carcinogenic to humans. So why are they spraying this literal poison on our food? One thing is for certain. Appeal should be kept far, far away from our food supply. The ability of this $2 billion Bill Gates-backed startup to just quietly slip in to extend the life of food with absolutely zero proof of preserving any nutritional value should remind every American of the importance of eating organic, local, and chemical-free food. But if the evidence here isn't enough to convince you, take a look at what Appeal allegedly does to the food itself.
When she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue.
Like,
whoa!
It's not even breaking, like at all. Like it, and I know you guys can't feel the texture, Avi, right, because it's a video, but like, it literally feels fake.
Is it clear yet? The tyrannical globalists will stop at nothing to completely railroad anyone trying to live a wholesome, healthy life. They'll do anything to try and kill off the resistors who refuse to align with their dystopian, dismal future, where you'll be forced to eat bugs and own nothing and be happy.
That's the other thing too. They just rolled out a new bug-based protein, which is bananas. I think it's based off of crickets. My mind would probably know more information about this, but I did briefly read an article regarding crickets being incorporated in proteins for meat manufacturing and protein bars. Disgusting. Bill Gates is awful. He bought the farms and doesn't want meat. Yeah, exactly, Stephanie. What's up, Stephanie? What's up, Terry? I'm glad you guys can make it. Just running through these chats. Yeah. Organic, Stephanie says organic is BS too, and don't pay more for antibiotic-free meats. Farmers don't use antibiotics in their animals anyways. Too much money. They've showed this way that they can make cabbage, and it's plastic. I don't think bugs are bananas. I'm pretty sure they're insects. Oh man. Now, we got to jump in. We got to jump into the Mr. Putin here. The truth will scare you. That's what my mind says here. Putin admits the UK. I got to say that for the YouTubes. The Rain War would have never happened if. Listen to this. Whoa! I don't know what happened here. What happened here? Sorry. I gotta get my stuff together today, guys. Here we go.
If he had been the president, if the victory wasn't stolen from him in 2020, maybe the Ukrainian crisis that arose in 2022 would have never appeared.
Interesting. Stephanie says, I'll send you a video later. It's literally plastic. I was pissed at my corned beef being ruined by plastic cabbage. That is gross. Michelle says, Gates needs to be the cellmate with Fauci. Yep. I agree. Both extradite them over to Russia. Get them out of here. Get them out of here because they're not doing anything positive for humanity. Absolutely. They think they are, but they're not. Now, this was an interesting clip here. This is from OAN News talking about the amount of work that Donald Trump, and we've already seen this, the amount of work that Donald Trump has been put in.
The Biden administration style is an observation that I have made, given the fact that I've covered the Biden administration throughout the week, throughout the weekends. Generally speaking, there is a Marine standing outside the Oval Office whenever the president is in there working. The last 2 days here, today and yesterday, myself being at the White House, that Marine is constantly outside the Oval Office, signaling that the president is in there working for the American people. The Marine was never out there during the Biden administration. It was a very rare occurrence. If you did, the Marine was out there. It was very rare if it was, but by comparison, the Marine has always been out here the last 2 days. And when a lid was called yesterday, the lid was called around 7, 8 o'clock yesterday, the Marine remained out there after the lid was called, signaling that Donald Trump was working late into the night for the American people. Meanwhile, by comparison, lids during the Biden administration were routinely called at 11 a.m. So the contrast of having a president who is cognitively able and willing to work punishing hours for the American people versus one who is very apparently in a cognitive decline and hidden away by AIDS has been very stark and apparent the last 2 days.
I have to say, when the commander-in-chief, when the boss in charge is outworking everyone, it sets a totally different standard for the entire country, all of the employees. I mean, think about it. When you work at a corporation and your boss is the first person in, the last person out, everyone better be working hard.
Can you believe that? Biden called his day at 11 a.m. I can believe it. He called his day at 11 a.m. What's up, artillery man? Matt says, have you seen the witches string of the Pope carries? I have not. 24-hour shifts to fix all Biden's mess ups. Absolutely. Jen says, why does he look like Macaulay Culkin? He kind of does. Kind of does look like Macaulay. The press does not seem to strive to ask questions in the last 2 days. Yeah. All right, I got a couple more things here. We got a lot of winning going on. They started doing these raids, and this is a meme that's blowing across the intro webs here.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti.
Oh, man. Border Czar reacts to the Haiti illegal alien arrested by ICE. And he said, well, he's definitely going back to Haiti.
You see that video, I'm curious, what do you think?
I'm not going back to Haiti. Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I tell him that.
Oh, man. Now, a new proposed bill in Mississippi would pay $1,000 to bounty hunters for each successful deportation of illegal migrants.
Bounty hunters to assist in identifying and reporting undocumented immigrants was introduced in the Mississippi House of Representatives. The bill, proposed by the DeSoto County District Attorney and authored by State Rep. Justin Keene, would create the Mississippi Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program. This program would offer a $1,000 reward to registered bounty hunters for each successful deportation they help facilitate.
You read my mind, man. You read my mind, Terry. Is Dog the Bounty Hunter coming back? Is he going to make a comeback on AMC or whatever channel he was on? Is Dog the Bounty Hunter going to be catching the illegal migrants? Oh, man. Patrick Kennedy says, did you see that the White House Espanol website was not found? Yeah, I think they took that down day one. They took that down day one. Oh, this $1,000 bounty for registered bounty hunters is on top of the $750 call-in bonus, if you would, that we reviewed a couple days ago. Anybody can talk about, can tell locations on where these migrants are. Dog the Bounty Hunter is one thing, but is Cajun Bounty Hunter? Holy moly. There's a Cajun Bounty Hunter? I got to check that out. I'm going to write that down. That show was a hoot, man. I'm writing it down. All right. Now, we have 1,500 U.S. active duty troops arrive on the southern border. They arrived there a few days ago to launch the border crackdown. This is good stuff.
This morning, the first 1,500 U.S. troops are arriving at the southern border as President Donald Trump launches his long-promised crackdown on immigration. The active duty Army soldiers and Marines deployed to address what Trump declared is a national emergency. The Pentagon says the troops include military police units, combat engineers, and intelligence specialists who will aid with detection.
They are back on it. They are back on it, guys. We are back. We are back. U.S. Marines arrive at the southern border. Look at this. We are back. We are back. We're sealing this thing up. We are sealing it up. We are sealing it up. I can't remember the exact number they deployed. I don't know the exact number either, but as of a few days ago, as of the 23rd, the first 1,500 active duty troops arrived. Let me see. Deployed. $1,500. Let me see here. The 1,500 came roughly 36 hours after Donald Trump issued the executive order. With 2,500 active duty personnel already in the region, an additional 1,500 troops arrived. DHS implemented deportation of over 5,000 individuals. Yep. Okay. Now, before we head on out of here, I came across this video. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if I can share this. Let's see. How can I blow this up? Yeah, let me see if this looks good. Let's see. It's kind of small. It's kind of small. I'll play it anyways. Michelle says, Daddy's home. I'm sure more will be deployed along with aerial support. Yep. Yesterday, one guy was hiking with his friend. Yeah, I heard that. Yesterday, somebody was hiking with their friend, and he ended up getting shot by a cartel member. This is crazy. It's horrible. It's horrible. This needs to stop ASAP. Michelle says, Daddy's home. I'm going to play this. I thought this was funny. There's this woman on Instagram, and she said this, said some things I like about liberals.
Liberals can make an absolutely exquisite cup of coffee. If your barista has rainbow hair, congratulations, your latte is about to put hair on your chest. If you can't tell by sight, sound, or context clues what gender your barista is, that Americano is about to make you see sounds. Another good thing about liberals is, much like the coffee, they make incredible chocolate treats. Somewhere up in Seattle, in the haze, they make chocolate treats. Yesterday I had this. It changed the trajectory of my life. It tasted a lot better than being skinny feels. Another thing I love about liberals is they date other liberals. They don't want any men with power tools. They're enticed by men like Harry Styles, who flop around in tutus. I like this. I want no part of that. There's no competition. I like this about liberals. Another good thing about liberals is many of them hate children, so they won't be procreating. We don't have to worry about that. Another thing I like about liberals is they limit their red meat consumption. I'm a carnivore, more for me. It's very mindful of liberals to limit their red meat consumption because the government told them to. Very demure. And the last thing I like about liberals is they can act their absolute asses off. Take, for instance, this man who flops around and throws temper tantrums in his $35 million house, just one of his houses, because he knows what it's like to be the average of. Here's some things.
Oh man, she said they make a mean cup of they make a mean Americano. If they got green hair, blue hair, purple hair, whatever it is, she said they're killer baristas. Anyways, guys, I'm going to jump on out of here. I want to give a huge shout out to the moderators in the chat. Shout out to the moderators in the chat. Thank you guys so much. And shout out to everybody catching this on the live. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you guys so much. We have an awesome community here in the chat. I love doing these lives because we can connect, and yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I will be on later today once Trump lands in California, and we'll see what that is all about, and see how Gavin Newsom scurries and runs. I don't think he's going to show up to the presser, or he'll be in the corner and getting completely dismantled by Donald Trump. Completely dismantled. Let me know if you're catching this on the replay. Type in replay in the comment section down below, and let me know your thoughts on the armed forces going and locking up the southern border, the North Carolina fiasco, California fires, and Tom Homan securing everything up. Securing everything up. All right, guys, I am out of here. Thank you guys so much. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.